The idea of taking a long trip and sort of exploring the world, kind of making up the steps as I go, has been, it had been on my mind for a long time. And actually, who am I waiting on to accomplish this dream of mine? I don't know, it's just so far afield from what I had imagined my life to be at the time. I think it would just be like eyes wide. There's just such kindness and caring in the world.
Hey everyone, welcome to Follow Minds. This interview is a pure treasure. Rumana and I talked about solo traveling, relationships, and how to experience joy every day. Wait until the end when she refuses to answer one of my questions. Enjoy the interview. I'm so happy to do the interview with you today. Welcome to Follow Minds.
Thank you, I'm very excited to be here.
So for all the viewers, I would say start with a small introduction of yourself, please.
My name is Rumana Hussein. I was born and raised in the United States. I spent about the last 15 years in California. And even though my life in the San Francisco Bay Area was actually really great, I had this dream for a long time to quit my job and just get onto the road and travel for a while. And so last fall, I decided to do that.
So now you're here in Georgia on your journey. So why did you decide to do solo traveling?
The idea of taking a long trip and sort of exploring the world, kind of making up the steps as I go, has been, it had been on my mind for a long time. And actually, in college, there was a couple the year ahead of me. After they graduated, they took a year off and they traveled the world. And that put the seed of the thought into my mind. I think it's much less common in the United States, or at least it was at the time, for people to take the year off to travel. And so then over the years, I had seen other couples do this thing, and I loved the idea. And even in some of my prior serious relationships, it's something that had been not only discussed, but sometimes actually even planned, like we're gonna quit our jobs, here's a general itinerary, here's how we're gonna finance it. But the relationships didn't work out, and neither did the travel plans. And so last fall, I went on a solo trip to Italy, and it had actually been quite a long time since I had done like a longer solo trip. It was a couple of weeks. And when I returned, the thought started to percolate in my mind, like I had such a great time, and who am I waiting on to accomplish this dream of mine? And I realized that I was just waiting on myself, and so I decided to go for it.
It's so nice that you have been inspired by somebody to just think about it and then at some day plan it and do it. And maybe today you will inspire also some other people who say, oh, now the plan is in my mind.
Exactly, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. So, and talking more about this, so you're already now 4 or 5 months doing this?
Yeah, about 5 months.
What did you learn so far in solo traveling?
Wow. I think anyone who travels at all, or solo travels in particular, will have a lot of different things that they could share on like a wide range of things that you learn about other cultures, about yourself, about how you navigate difficult situations, about meeting people, and everyone's experience is different. I think the thing that I'll highlight, because I don't hear about it as much amongst other people who are traveling, is I learned not to feel like I need to produce something or that I need to have a purpose. And I think the flip side of that is learning to understand like what I really want or need in a particular moment, and honoring that and actually following through on the thing that my instinct is saying, or my like body is signaling, rather than trying to pursue things that feel like it's productive or it's the right thing to do, or I'm here and I should do something. And so I'd say that's one of the largest learnings.
That's so nice because I think you not only see a lot of countries, but you also get to know to yourself a lot more. I mean, that's what you said. You're on a journey, finding yourself, seeing things, and also what I hear is like losing a bit the pressure other people put on you. Because as you say, they say, yeah, you should pursue some things, but you realize, no, I can just be in the moment, live the traveling, and do what you love to do, what you want to do in that moment. What would the 18-year-old Rumana say if she would see you today doing this?
Oh my gosh. What would 18-year-old Rumana say? I'm completely flabbergasted by this question. I don't know. You know, when I was 18, I felt like there was a particular path to follow. I studied computer science in undergrad. I got an internship and then a job and et cetera, et cetera. And I always had like a desire for adventure and travel. But it took me a long time to identify what my inner voice was saying and the path that I wanted to take. And so I think 18-year-old me would be as dumbfounded to respond to the question as I am right now, because I don't know, it's just so far afield from what I had imagined my life to be at the time. I think it would just be like eyes wide, jaw dropped.
And probably extremely proud. As you said, you maybe had the seed somewhere planted, I want to travel.
Yeah.
And if she would see, you're here,
like,
you're
wow.
traveling, you're in Georgia, is it a country?
Yeah.
So I think probably she would be really proud and happy seeing you.
I think so too. A bit mind blown.
That's amazing. Another part which also comes through the journey of self-development, you're really confident. Like when we met, as you talk, as your appearance, it's what's from the outside. And of course, that's a development. As you said, with 18, you need to find more things. So what is your journey with confidence?
That's such a fascinating question also.
So if you go back, can you say like, I have been confident all the time, or you remember something where you said, oh no, I was unconfident and now it's different?
Well, for a philosophical question, you get a philosophical answer. It's kind of like, what is love? I think the definition of confidence for me has also evolved over time. So I think for the most part, I've always felt pretty confident. There have been times in my life where things were tougher, my esteem was lower, for sure. But as a general sense, I've always felt confident as I understood the term to mean at the time. And I think along the lines of self-knowledge, so maybe previously I felt really confident about my abilities, being able to accomplish things, competence, abilities, that kind of thing. I think my confidence now comes from a greater level of self-trust, that I know myself better, that I can respond more effectively to things because I'm not doubting my own instinct. So the dimensions of confidence are much bigger now than, throughout my development.
Yeah, I understand it. It's like also a part of the development. And another part is our relationships. You mentioned them already. You told me prior to the interview you had some serious relationships, and now you're single, so in the end they didn't work out. What were your learnings from the previous relationships you had?
I think continuing on the theme of knowing myself and being clear on the type of life experience that I want to have is the most important thing, and it's important to honor that. In prior relationships, I was married, for example. I recognize now that a lot of my mindset at the time was oriented towards this path I was supposed to be on. And so I rationalized some of the things that I was feeling that was signaling to me that it wasn't the relationship for me. And then kind of like the logical thought process would take over and say, but he's a great person, here are where your values align, that kind of thing. And so I think I found myself talking myself into more than one relationship where my instinct was suggesting it wasn't a place for me to thrive. And I guess that would be the theme for what I learned from the relationship, as well as, what I'm learning from traveling is really understanding and honoring what's happening for me within.
Yeah, it aligns really well with everything you said before, like to the prior questions. And even like when I asked you about your journey of confidence, you said, I learned to trust you learn to trust your instinct. And again, it's the same. You said like now it's you when you know yourself better, you know your instincts. You should trust your instincts. You maybe had some situations where you did trust your instinct and it worked out well, and some situations where you didn't, and it didn't work out so well. So I think that's a big learning and something that goes for so many people, and a really important advice for people.
Yeah. I find that it's really difficult, and I'm not at the end of my journey yet. I never will be, but there's such a strong conditioning that can happen as you're like growing up and sort of society's expectations and not wanting to seem rude or create discomfort in a situation. And often, I'll say women often do this, and probably men also will continue on a path that doesn't feel great for them because they don't want to create discomfort in the broader situation. And I think, there are ways to navigate uncomfortable situations that's not causing a scene, but still honoring the thing that you need. And so those are the types of things that I'm learning and putting into practice.
And talking about relationships, now we talked about like partnership, but of course we have way more relationships in life. What role play your family and your friends in your life?
Wow. This is something I've been reflecting on a lot. Obviously, I've been traveling now for 5 months. I haven't seen my family or most of my friends in person during that time. My family, especially my brother and my niece, are like a huge part of my daily life still. We're in touch like over Telegram, and in every country that I've visited, I've been creating little videos for my niece. She's 2, so she doesn't maybe totally appreciate the significance of the different places that I'm sending her the videos from, but nurturing that relationship is really important to me. And my parents are also really, I struggle to say supportive because I think they would rather I'm not doing this, but given that I am doing this, they have been supportive and enthusiastic and interested in what I'm doing and a support for me. So that has been, I would say, an evolution for them also. And that's the family side of things. And friends also, there are some friends that I'm in touch with quite a lot, sending voice notes and staying connected. And a few I've seen meeting up along the way during travels. And so my family and friendships are still really important to me. I think that's what gives me, it contributes to the confidence that I have to travel. And in fact, I think part of why I felt ready to take this trip is because I did the solo vacation in October and I thought now is the time. But also I felt in my life very stable with a really wonderful friend system in Oakland in the San Francisco Bay Area, and solid relationship with my family. And so it created a sense of safety and strength for me to be able to travel. Yeah, and so for me, psychologically, that's still really important, and it's there even though I'm not seeing those friends and family at all over video, but I haven't seen them in person. The other thing to add is I've developed several really good friendships along the way, including our mutual friend.
Yeah.
Should we name her?
Yeah, we should name her.
Vanessa.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. I met Vanessa in Croatia and she invited me to come visit in Georgia, and here I am. And I've met also a few other people with whom I just feel resonance, and that is so special, and they're people that I'm keeping in touch with as well. And I think aside from just the beauty of making friends along the way, from each person, I'm adopting like another way to experience joy. So, for example, I met someone in Cyprus who he always takes videos of animals when he's traveling.
Okay.
And I like animals, but I always just think, oh, like so cute, and then just keep going. And after like seeing that thing that brings him joy, I now take like cute little videos of animals and it brings me joy. And so I'm just like adding to all of the things that enhance my life through the people that I'm meeting.
That's so cool. If you can, I mean, when you find more ways to feel joy, so you already feel joy in a lot of things, but you just add up. You don't add something up and do something else.
Exactly.
That's amazing, and something that is really pretty amazing, asking you about friendship. So, of course, you say there's like this fundament from all the people in your country, your family, your friends, but I think it's incredible, and you and Vanessa, you're the perfect example, how deep you can connect in only seeing each other one night out and one dinner. And you said, yeah, come to my country, and you just change your plans. You travel to a complete different direction, but you just know it feels right, and in the end it is right, and turns out to be really nice.
Yes, 100%.
You mentioned joy. You say you add up joy. So I want to ask you, what means or what brings joy to you?
Wow, so many things. But on the everyday level, I find joy in unexpected interactions with people. That one I already had. And unexpected, it's like normal, it's everyday stuff, but I just didn't expect to see it, and I see it like a cute interaction between like two people having a conversation, or you know, an old woman coming through a gateway.
Yeah.
Kids playing soccer, just stumbling upon things that are just so normal, yet I have the opportunity to witness it in a new setting.
But this is something, I really love your answer, because I ask you about joy and you just directly dive into the everyday setting. So most people think, okay, joy brings me my vacation I can do once a year. But even the way you're looking at it, okay, I can find joy every day. And as you say, these interactions, you told me about a story meeting an older woman here in Georgia. It's so fascinating what it can bring you, that you just have one situation and you feel so good about this. And if you're open for such situations, you will feel way more joy. So now we talked a lot about positive things, joy, and also you doing or fulfilling your dream, traveling, what you thought so long time about it. So many people might think, okay, now you're traveling, you do what you always want, so now everything is 100% positive, you don't face any problems. So I want to ask, besides all this joy it brings you, what are the challenges you're facing right now?
Some of the challenges that I'm facing, this is a great question, because the challenges feel like extremely mundane relative to the privilege I have of traveling. Actually, the challenges in the grand scheme of things are not so grand. I mean, they're not so big. But I definitely have times that I feel lonely. And sometimes at the same time antisocial. So it's not as though I feel like connecting with some strangers. I think the loneliness is from the lack of like immediate connection with people I know and love and who know and love me. And it's difficult with the time difference too. You know, I
Yes,
can't always
sure.
like pick up the phone and have a conversation with someone. That's where the voice notes come in sometimes. I would say like this is not an overwhelming sensation. I actually really appreciate my own company, and so I don't struggle like continuously with this thing of loneliness, but it happens sometimes, and that can be tough. I also like sometimes the logistics of traveling is just easier when you have another person.
Yes.
I have another thing to add. Even with some of the times that I've struggled, like for example, I've been like kind of sick a few times throughout these months, and it's just nice when you're sick for someone to take care of you. You know, you wish you had that person. And I think like maybe the first time I was sick, I was at a hostel, and like a couple of the people who work at the hostel took care of me. They made me tea. They went out and got cough drops for me. So there's just such kindness and caring in the world. And I think I am traveling solo, and a lot of the times I'm not around people that I know. But even without asking, many people are willing to care for you and like step up as a fellow human being, and that has been just really wonderful.
I love it. That's a so strong message, because through news media we always only see negative things, or they report about negative people. But if you really are in the world, you travel. It's the same experience for me personally when I travel, or especially here in Georgia. 99% of the people are so friendly. They will help you even if you don't ask them for help. But if they see, oh, you need something, they will just ask, what do you need? And they just help you. And this is an experience that everybody should make. The world is not as bad as it sometimes seems. The world is wonderful. There are wonderful people. If you tonight could go out for a dinner with one person in the world, dead or alive, you could pick any person, who would that be?
I refuse to answer this question. I hate questions like this.
Okay,
it's like choosing a favorite something. It's impossible.
That's fine.
There are so many amazing people, dead and alive. How could I choose amongst my grandparents and I have to only choose one? This kind of goes to my attitude on joy. There are just so many good opportunities that it is impossible to pick one.
So right, that's actually probably the best answer you could give.
Thank goodness.
And if you say like, and another thing, you think of your family first.
Yeah.
Anybody could say, yeah, I would like to meet Mahatma Gandhi, would be incredibly interesting, but I probably would also think, okay, I want to talk to my grandparents, because it's the close thing. So even though you refuse to answer the question, you answered it in a brilliant way.
But I'll say this, if I could teleport somewhere to like see someone right now and then teleport back, it would be to see my niece.
Thank you so much for the interview. I think there were so many inspiring and interesting things in it, and so interesting to somehow sometimes follow a different mind, and yours one is really beautiful, really exciting, really interesting. I myself can learn a lot from them, from you, from your thoughts, from your experiences, and I think a lot of other people can do it too. So I hope every one of you enjoyed the interview. I think it was amazing. Give me your opinion, and thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you.